Well, Billy Stark, I think, not yet trembling with emotion, although he should be listening to the Celtic support, which he's been accustomed to in the spot. Kind of a look at that Celtic team.
Yeah, it's pretty much as expected, with Bobby Petr coming in for Alan Thompson on the left-hand side. And I think it's arguably Martin O'Neill's strongest side, or what he feels is his strongest side. Moravcik obviously is one who can certainly contribute at some part of the game, but it's such a solid lineup, and there's confidence flowing through it at the moment.
And there's a very confident, you heard Jim saying, 7 games in a row, unbeaten since August in the first game against Sporting Lisbon. That's good form.
Well, it is indeed, and I don't think they're losing many goals either, Archie. I think they're a very assured European side. Obviously beating Celtic in the pre-season friendly, although it was a somewhat farcical game. But this is the real stuff here tonight, and I think the Celtic fans are really built up and looking forward to it.
And the pitch, I can tell you, looks in absolutely perfect condition. Well, Parkhead has waited a long time to get back into the big time, and it really is affecting the support now. Massed around Parkhead, solid ranks of scarves raised aloft. There's Dick Joel from Holland, first time in Scotland, 45 years of age. He's been a referee since '93. And of course the traditional huddle by the Celtic players. Well, I heard it said in the studio with great experience, of course, that these players I think will barely be intimidated given their great European experience. We were talking about players like Georgi Costa as the game starts, who's played in 36 European games. The man, by the way, they call the animal. I think it was Andy who said he was looking forward to that tussle with Sutton. We all are. There's a bad slip. And I think the referee, Dick Joel, is going to have a word right away with Bobo Balde. This man awarded 3 penalty kicks when he officiated at the European Cup final between Valencia and Bayern last season. Clumsy, mistiming, the adrenaline pumping just a little bit too much there, I think. Free kick. I think it really is in the counter-attack. That Celtic have to beware of this team. Enormously fast, especially the wing-backs, famed for that. By Lambert. I don't think there's any doubt that Bobby Petr will add a new dimension. When he came on in Turin, I thought Celtic actually played well on the left and gave Agat a little bit of room on the other side of the field.
He did indeed. Agat came more into the game, and I think Juventus brought on Birindelli immediately to try and take care of Bobby Petr. So obviously his reputation and the job that he does for Celtic had gone before him, but it's a real bonus to have him back in the side.
Quickly taken, played out there. Deco tried to pick it up. There he is. Well, I've got to watch this man, Deco. Scored in the last game, scored a couple of goals, in fact, last week. And that goal against Rosenborg. Henrik Larsson. Almost got it through to Agat. Listen to the crowd in the background every time this man picks the ball up. And he can carve an opening so well, Sutton. But again, he's going to try out this defence. Bobby Petr coming from deep. Remember how invaluable he was in Amsterdam early in the game. Easily picked up by Mjolby. Well, the Portuguese won at the weekend, although they struggled somewhat. And there was a collision between Octavio Machado, the coach, and Georgi Costa, number 2 in the game tonight, the captain of the side, because he was subbed and he didn't like it, threw his armband into the dugout. Well, that sometimes happens. Agat, now he'll have to go at this defence. Just touched away there by Ricardo Carvalho. There he is, that's the man in the back we were talking about, Georgi Costa, the man they call the animal. Petrov fighting hard for it. Referee's waving play on. Now Bobby Petr. Backed up by Lennon. Oh, that was late and seemed to me over the top. Now, there are 4 of these players on yellow cards going into this game. 2 of them, including Jorge Costa, are 1 yellow card away from a ban. And I'm surprised that Dick Yule didn't bring the yellow card out for that.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously the type of thing that Bobby Pett has become used to.
It's deep. Well away there by Carvalho. Carvalho right in the middle of that defence. Ricardo Carvalho, youth product. He's just turned 23. There he is, Martin O'Neill. Looking a little bit tense, but he normally looks like that, even down in the technical zone when he's near the game. That's the ball at A-gap, flourishes on, and that's an excellent tackle. That's the young fella I was talking about, Ricardo Carvalho. He's only been capped at under 21 level. Valder. Celtic with the 3 at the back. Well, Sutton has the height, then the advantage. Bobby Pett coming in from deep. Oh, a little bit fortunate there, but well, he's awarded a corner kick.
Yeah, it was one of those ones that could have gone either way. I think Porto, I think it's Ibarra there is irate with the referee for that decision. He feels that it was definitely a goal kick, because I think they know the threat that Celtic have from set pieces.
5 minutes gone. Celtic can be very powerful in the air here, but it's low. Flicked away there by Paredes. Just a little bit overstruck that time. Straight to Ovchinnikov, the Russian goalkeeper, and that seemed to be a hard tackle on Pena. Yes, he gets the protection of the referee. He's got the responsibility tonight, hasn't he?
Yeah, I think we saw early signs there of the respect that Porto have. They've withdrawn Andrade to make it a back 3 there, and the ball up the inside there for a gap was cut out by the extra man at the back.
Pick up here by Capuccio. Lambert kept his head well over the ball there to keep his control. Yeah, it's going to be a free kick, and very shortly this referee, who has a reputation for being a disciplinarian, will reach for a card.
Yep, I mean, normally in Champions League games we see the tackle going in there. It's Costinha, who's very much a defensive midfield player in there, a Portuguese international cap. I think he took part in the European Championships, and you know, his job is to break up any Celtic attacks, and on that occasion he was punished and maybe fortunate to get away without a yellow card.
Well, Chris Sutton had a look of vengeance on his face, that's for sure. A mistake there by Valkerin, got his head to it. Certainly. Well, Pena went after that half-heartedly. Beautiful turn by Petrov. Well, the referee, I think, is acting with an unusual degree of tolerance about this. That was, to my mind, if it had been in Scottish football, we would have had 3 cards by now. Yeah,
especially the fact it was the same player within the matter of a minute that had the 2 tackles, and he really is fortunate not to have got a yellow card.
A lot of swerve in that one. Sutton beaten in the air again. I must say, I think he's about 3 or 4 inches higher than Carvalho, but he's been beaten in the air so far. Valder did well to get to that. Kept his concentration. Yelby. Unfortunate slip, and there's a chance now. Henrik Larsson couldn't get it away. There's hand there by Larsson. Free kick. A little bit slippy in the middle. I said the pitch looked good, Billy, but 1 or 2 slips at vital moments.
Yeah, no, I think the players, it's the type of surface that they'll enjoy, but we see there the Portuguese are renowned for a short passing game, and they were almost caught out there trying to play that type of game in the wrong area of the pitch in their last third.
Carvalho. Got a little bit of pace as well. Pena. Yalby going with him. Well, picked up by Costinha. Costinha again. Knocking the ball about well. Looking forward. That's a lovely tackle by Bobby Petta. He backtracked superbly. Well, no cover on that far side. Deco. Well cleared. You can see how quickly that Lambert can read a situation like that, filling that little vacuum that suddenly was created. Well, I think in the word in the studio, one of the main words by Andy and Paul was patience. I think everybody at Celtic Park will have to have that tonight. This is a tricky and skillful team. They'll try and hold on to the ball as often as they can, Billy, to increase frustration.
Well, obviously last week was Celtic's first Champions League tie, and of course they're one-off games now. It's not home and away, so patience is the order of the day. The only thing that needs to be done tonight is for the game to be won. There's no worry about away goals or anything like that. So, as I say, patience is key.
Robert Douglas. There was that slight moment of hesitation there. Valgerin and Mjällby. Straight through to Ovchinnikov. Started off his career with Lokomotiv Moscow, then Benfica. Difficult role for him or shoes to fill, because Vitor Baia, very famous Portuguese goalkeeper, is recovering from cruciate ligament injury. And it may well be that he'll be replaced when the famous Portuguese international gets back.
Well, Baia is recognised as the best Portuguese goalkeeper ever, Archie, so there's every likelihood he will come back.
Well, perfectly legitimate challenge there by Stilian Petrov, who I thought was outstanding last week in Turin. Peta is fouled. I'm keeping my eye on Dick Joel to see when he reaches in for that yellow card of his. Larson trying to pull them wide. Not such a clever ball inside. That's a free kick. And he'll have a word with Lennon. I get the feeling, Billy, that when the first yellow card is produced, they'll come like a flood, given what's been happening.
Yeah, it would have been hard to take if Neil Lennon had been the recipient of a yellow card there, because there's been one or two tackles, notably by Costinha, who...
Well, there's Sven-Goran Eriksson, who's up having a look, I think, at one man in particular, Chris Sutton. Beside him, John Reid, of course, and just touched away. Sometimes it's taken a lot to get English team managers to come north of the border. We get the impression sometimes that we live in igloos up here. But he's taken the trouble, and Sutton deserves that recognition. Now Peta, he's got an opening. What's the final ball going to be like? Not the best, but they are getting some openings now. This is encouraging for Celtic, and the flag is up though. Well, this team cannot afford to give Bobby Peta that kind of latitude.
Yeah, I mean, it was good play. He linked with Chris Sutton. I think we see it here. Lennon played it to Peta, who was obviously in an offside position, but the first thrust was a good one. But Porto managed to get plenty of players back in the penalty box, and they've already shown their prowess in the air. Obviously we would normally say Sutton and Larson would be hard to beat in the air, but they've handled it well so far.
That's a very tense-looking Martin O'Neill in that stand. That's good interception again. Agat did splendid work now. You can see Larson taking his time about this. Will Agat get to that goal line? No, just a little bit too hard. He specialises in that, but I'm quite sure that the Portuguese team have looked very closely at videos and know what that ploy is all about.
Yeah, he basically just run out of space there. He is one who does have tremendous pace. I think even great pace in Champions League terms, and just on that occasion they didn't have enough room to work with.
Nyobe took his eyes right off that. Well, surprisingly, normally he has very good concentration, but a bit of lapse there. They're not linking with the two men up front, but they got that break. Pena. Leslie knocked the ball about cleverly. Very good use of space. Pena had come back for that. The man who scored 29 goals last season. Top scorer in Portuguese football. Paredes, the man in the middle. Number 5 is a Paraguayan. Easily knocked away that time, too easily. Celtic's benefit. Pena couldn't get away. That's an excellent tackle by Valde. He had to get in there. He was the last line. Agat might go off in one of these long runs of his. Pena again. Yes, he's been closely watched, but he is elusive. Larson kept it in well, but pulled round there. There's Capuccio. Joined the club 5 years ago. He's been a regular in the side. Portuguese international, of course. Well, the referee is looking stern without actually acting stern.
I think you mentioned Baldi's interception there. It really was crucial, and it shows you how incisive the Portuguese can be in the last third.
Sutton can't get clear. Well, at this stage they're actually defending quite well, although I think labouring some of the clearances. Brilliant play by Lambert. Agat. Well, they're going forward, and Larson was almost in there. There was that hesitation. The ball is still in play. Got to go, no. Knocked away from Larson, and a collision there. No doubt about that. Both players are down. Real challenge here. Now watch Henrik Larsson coming in from the back. There was a little bit of hesitation.
It's typical Larsson. He did so well to get in front of the defender, just couldn't get the required touch to get it on target. But
and he really is animated. Well, they might. What they haven't done is bolt him to his seat.
Well, we normally see that type of shot, and it's in the dugout. But obviously tonight, Martin O'Neill restricted to the stand. But Bobby Petter, full credit to him there. He kept the play going. The ball curled tantalisingly in the goal line and stayed in the pitch, and Petter produced the cross, but it was really well defended once again by Porto.
Larson recovered well. A little bit untidy in midfield. Well, Celtic growing in the number of passes that they've made and the possession they've had. Good interception. Lennon reads the game so quickly and so well in that midfield position. Little jink forward. That's brilliant play. Dear. Well, away across on the far side of the penalty area, Sutton did not see Stilian Petrov coming in, and I wonder if he's giving the English manager, they're giving him 3 out of 10 for that one.
I'm sure he's not happy with it. It was good play in the first instance. Great reverse pass in there to Sutton, and then, as you say, Petrov was arriving in the inside left position.
Well, it was 1 against 1 there. Larson did make that run right through the middle. O'Heron. Ball still in play. They're just popping it back into midfield at the moment. Hardly constructive. The crowd didn't like it. Both went for the ball, though. Well, the play very untidy from both sides. at this juncture, and the referee is having a word with Costa, I think. Oh, there's blood there, yeah. Yes, he has to go off. Quite accidental. Well, he's a tough hombre. Not taking long to come back on. As I said, he was subbed at the weekend and threw his armband at the manager. Maybe not the kind of conduct that would encourage the idea of loyalty, but on the other hand, some players are very determined.
Well, he's very much a talisman for the Portuguese club. He's been there for a very long time, and Sir Alex Ferguson, I saw in the papers today, recognising his brutal way of playing, and they're the type of players that probably other players will appreciate in the team. Bullies the opposition and holds the defence together.
I think this goalkeeper may be in danger of being booked for time wasting. He realises that Jorge Costa is out of the defence at the moment. And the Russian goalkeeper tried to put it out of play. And Costa comes back on. Played in all 5 of the European Championship games in 2000. He's been playing in the national side for the last 9 years. The central defender in Portuguese football. 20 minutes of this game gone. Just kept in by Lambert. That was an excellent tackle, but nobody up front there. Deco, the Brazilian player, number 10. Lux just in behind the other 2 there. Our referee wisely letting play go on. The tackle was on the ball by Lambert. Now Peta. Ball like Peta, that's a decent ball across. Goal. Agat taken on by the bounce. Disappointing finish there as they went forward.
He took a chance there, De Silva elected to let the ball run through, and Agat was coming in on his blind side. And I think if he chooses to do that for the rest of the night, Agat may get some joy there.
Might have headed that away, clearly. Trying to make that diagonal pass. Valcheren just taking the sting off it. It's dangerous to play that ball around like that. He just got away with it. Really, as a coach, that would have put your heart in your mouth.
Yeah, and it's uncharacteristic for Malby. He normally doesn't take chances, but with Peña about, he has to watch what he's doing.
Very ambitious looking shot, that. Jorge Andrade right in the middle of defence, making his first break over the halfway line. Valder. Kind of half-hearted pass forward there. Mario Silva making the break. The 2 fullbacks, Ibarra on the other side, of course, phenomenally quick. Lambert wanted a 1-2 play to him. Peta. Agat having to turn inside. I think they've certainly done their homework in Agat. They're pushing him inside, Billy.
Yeah, Agat's getting further forward than Peta at the moment, but he's been well policed.
Careful push forward there. Nice little touch. Offside again. Well, that was a well-worked movement that time. One-touch football, getting a little bit of freedom. It was done quickly, and they almost got away with it.
It was good play by Celtic, but I think just marginally offside. Yeah, Larsson just offside there, but more encouraging if the Portuguese are pushing up into that area. There is an area for you know, the likes of Larsson and even Petrov from the middle of the pitch to get in behind them.
Just knocked away. Capuccio suddenly popping up on that far side. Well, there was a push there by Pet, and the referee just turned very quickly away from it. I think there was a little gasp you could hear in the crowd when that collision took place, and Petrov couldn't get forward quickly enough. But the play is all in the Portuguese half at the moment.
Yeah, definitely just a clumsy kind of challenge by Peter there. In fact, I don't think he actually meant to do that, obviously, but you know, I wouldn't like to give the referee too many of those decisions to make.
Free kick. Almost 25 minutes gone. There was no cover there. Capuccio on that far side, and Pena trying to give it. First time they've really threatened inside the penalty area, and that was bad marking away in the far side.
Well, it was lack of concentration. Celtic switched off. It was a quick free kick, and Capuccio produced a marvellous cross across the face of the goal, and luckily Celtic defended it well.
Well, Celtic had a lot of possession, and nevertheless, the obvious side to that is the Portuguese are soaking in this atmosphere now, getting accustomed to it, looking more and more confident. And they are concentrated. Haven't been any lapses yet. Valde, free kick though to Celtic. It's Paredes, the Paraguayan. Won 3 titles with his club back in Paraguay before he joined Porto in 2000. And in there, just to the left-hand side, the coach, Octavio Machado. Now, trying to do that little chipped one, and a lot of wrestling. I think one of the characteristics, Billy, of football nowadays is the amount of jersey pulling that goes on inside the penalty area. I mean, it's like all in wrestling nowadays.
Yeah, well, that's a very pertinent point after last week in Turin, but we see the strength of Costa there. I mean, Chris Sutton, I think, uses his body brilliantly against defenders, but Costa seems to be equal of him so far tonight.
Straightforward header for Lennon. Didn't make any contact. Yes, we get a free kick for that. There's Deco. Valherin following it right across. He was mortified, of course, about that penalty incident. Call it an incident because it was quite unresolved in Celtic's minds. Threading the passage through Berta now, and Pena trying to come in. That's a good clearance. Well, the finishing, on the 1 or 2 occasions they've been able to build up something, has been rather feckless.
Yeah, I mean, it was a bit over-ambitious to try a shot from there. We can see he's not really set up to hit it. I think it's his poorer foot, and it's well off target. But I think we do see the Portuguese, the strength they have in the ball. They actually invite, you know, the pass into them even when they're being heavily marked, and they shrug off players, and then, of course, you have runners, and they make full use of it.
Well, 2 of them going in for that. There really ought to have been a shout as Agat tried to stretch out that long leg of his. Very often you watch Agat making one of these runs, you feel as if he's hit the ball too far ahead, and then he gets a little touch to it, sends it beyond the defender.
Well, that's the thing about defenders, it actually invites them into thinking that they can get the ball, but as you say, with his pace and his speed, you know, he inevitably gets there and gets a toe to it, and he's away from them.
Well, there was a lot of passionate sound to start off with. I think there's a kind of lull now as the crowd trying to evaluate this game and the way this Portuguese team have been able to sustain the occasional pressure and luck dangerously. Pena, passing has just been a little bit too obvious. Go back to Carvalho. Capuccio. Capuccio runs all over the field. You saw him in the right wing a couple of minutes ago. He's got a free roll. Ibarra. Trying to go in there again. Hugo Ibarra, the Argentinian. Larson almost crowded out, and he won't get that. Well, I think they've seen the danger of obviously Sutton and Larson up front. Done their homework.
I think that's a dangerous element. The front three of Porto, Pena and Capuccio with Deco just in behind them, but they all work very, very hard. We've seen Deco back defending in his own penalty box, and as you say, it was Capuccio this time away in the kind of outside left area.
Well, they allowed that to go through. Lennon plays it a little bit too wide, and I think Henrik Larsson wanted quicker forward movement there by Paul Lambert. Of course, Henrik Larsson, John Robertson, I'll tell you what, he's a heavy smoker, John, and he'll be having a few puffs, I would imagine, at half-time. Pena goes after this. There's Valcheren coming right across the field, using the whole width of the field there to block that out.
That is an indication of the Porto front players now that they're the left-sided central defender has had to come way over into almost the right back position to make an interception and put the ball out for a throw-in.
Well, you saw that little attempt to control the ball there. I think up front, when they're going forward, they do sometimes look a little bit casual in the final ball.
Well, I think that's a sign of their confidence. They really do have a magnificent touch, and as I say, they invite players in. They're quite happy to take it under pressure, and they can pass the ball very, very quickly and slickly.
Well, I think the referee, free kick. Paredes went down very heavily. Yes, well, as I said, he's suffering that terrible frustration of not being able to communicate. And I suppose we know what's happened in quiz shows. If he starts coughing, people will be suspicious and try to communicate. I think it's slightly ludicrous, all the same. Here's a break. Well, that's a good tackle. Couldn't have been any mistake there. Mjolby came about 10 yards very quickly to blot that out. Petrov is going to let fly. Well, at the very least, after 31 minutes, Celtic have had a clear shot at goal, leaving aside that effort by Sutton, and Stilian Petrov, the man in the mood to do exactly that, given the explosive goals he scored recently.
Yeah, they've had the bulk of the possession, Celtic, but it's important always to bring the opposing goalkeeper into the game, and with Petrov's power, I think it's always worth him trying a shot from that distance.
Cutting inside again. Not getting it cleanly enough, I don't think, to Lennon. Petrov almost paid off. Look how deep Pena has come. As I said, the top goal scorer when he's deep inside his own half. And not a single Portuguese player in the Celtic half there.
I don't think Carvalho appreciated that pass. He was under pressure, severe pressure from Henrik Larsson. And I think as a defender he made the right decision there to not to try anything fancy, just to clear his lines, and they can start defending again.
Referee waves play on. Ibarra's with it. As he lacked support, he's feeling there was a push, and Deco, who had come off the field, is now back on. They were down to 10 men there. He's getting some attention. He's back on the field again. Ibarra. Given away by Lennon. That's very unlike him. And that's a kind of lack of lapse of concentration that this team have when they go forward. Putting the ball away easily. Thankfully for Celtic's cause. No, just knocked a little bit too far ahead, but been given a free kick. And I would imagine that, what would you make it, Billy? 36-7 yards out. Petrov might be given the task of relieving Celtic of the burden that is becoming increasing on them of having so much possession, yet not being able to break this side down.
I think it was a good foul for Celtic. I think Henrik Larsson had maybe lost control of the ball. The covering defender was in.
No, they're trying the chipped one, the high one, and Mjolby was up. Mjolby's been dragged out of defence now. A poor ball forward. Trying to go in hard, Agat. There's Celtic at the free kick again. That was Mario Silva. He's a man who played in French football and won a championship with Nantes last season, by the way. Just to top right a picture. Now what can Celtic's big men do? Balde's up for this. They've left Valgaeren at the back. Oh, not such a good ball. Agat. Well, Lambert within with conviction there. Just a little bit unlucky.
Yeah, I wonder if that was the right decision there for Stilian Petrov to take the free kick. He's under-hit his set pieces tonight so far. Bobby Pettit had come way across to slant one in on top of the goalkeeper, and Celtic are so dangerous from that type of situation.
All Celtic. That's a very congested Portuguese half. But how to unpick the lock? Valgaeren. You can see Larsson wants to build it up. Valgaeren, that's a great run by Valgaeren. Well, if Chris Sutton had left that, sometimes you'll find him dummying. There were Celtic players coming up in his wake.
Yeah, once again, great play. Larsson plays in Valgaeren, who sprinted from the back. Chris Sutton, I thought, just got over there just a wee bit too early. Certainly attracted defenders to him, but then it needed somebody else to put it in.
That must be there. No, Agat. Another corner kick, I think. Yes, he was suddenly left in the clear. And this team are now under pressure with about 10 minutes remaining of this half.
Great corner kick from Petrov there. That's the type of thing, putting defenders under pressure, and Agata was at the back post who almost got it in target.
They might just take a quick one here. That's a decent one again, and it's there! Larsson! Celtic have opened the scoring. And that's brought him to his feet, not surprisingly. 36 minutes gone, and this defence who'd been under pressure. There's the touch there. He's always alert to it. Anything coming his way, even with a fraction of an opportunity, he'll put away, and he does it again.
Yeah, Larsson's in his usual position, centre goal. He challenged for the first ball in, went over his head, but he was so quick to react, and in the end it was a very straightforward finish for him. But the importance of the goal certainly cannot be underestimated.
I don't think UEFA banned jubilation. They needed that, Celtic. In a way, you felt it was coming, although you were tempted not to say that.
Yeah, territorial Celtic had taken the advantage, but without creating too many clear-cut chances. But of course, from set pieces, they're so lethal.
Well, this team look in disarray at the moment. They certainly have been badly pained by that one. Larsson. Another goal here, and Celtic would be able to totally dominate this game. Just touched away. And the crowd lapping this up now.
Well, sometimes when you score, you have to be very careful. The concentration's right. You don't let the other team right back into it. But I can sense that Celtic, with 4 or 5 minutes to go before half-time, feel that if they can get another one right now, it may just win the game for them.
Agat came in just a little bit too quickly. So I think you'll get a free kick out of that. Well, this team have looked extraordinarily casual any time they've had any opportunity going forward, as witnessed the way they gave the ball away a minute ago. Well, Henrik Larsson, a real special phenomenon in the game. Hasn't had much opportunity to show his skills tonight, but of course he doesn't really need that. We've seen him recently in games when he's hardly been in it, and then bang, the ball's in the back of the net. Well, this team are showing absolutely nothing going forward. Valkeren. I think there'll be a free kick for the last tackle. There is. Costinha brought down there. Costinha, another of these players who spend a lot of time outside of Portugal. He played for Monaco. Had a great deal of experience with them. I think it's Carlos Alberto Paredes who might have a go at this. He has Deco beside him as well. That's Paredes with it. I think they like to play the ball about, knock it in, rather than just swing it high and to go. Valde. I think, Billy, given the circumstances of that extraordinary game in Turin and the tension involved in this when the manager got down there in the dugout, has given it a kind of false appearance, because this team really haven't been in it. I mean, Celtic, without creating a chance before that, although many chances, have really dominated the game.
Yeah, I mean, I think they obviously lost goals at bad times last week, but they've scored one tonight at a very good time, just before half-time. And even going in 1-0 up at half-time, I think it's halfway to mission accomplished.
Meanwhile, a corner kick. 5 minutes of this half remaining. Way across to take it, Deco. Swings it in high. Lupena tried to get in. And just over. Two of them could have gone for it, and it shows you in a game of this nature, one little lapse of judgment in defence and you could suffer.
Yeah, it was a great delivery from Deco. It looked as if it was slightly overhit, but it's obviously something they work on. The player got round the back, headed it back in a similar type of situation to the one Larsson scored from, but luckily for Celtic, just put over the bar.
Well, you look back and some of the tries, go back to the Lisbon Lions themselves, you know, in their tribe, they had the moments and the slices of luck in the game. Jock Stein admitted as much, and you've got to have that. Petrov. Better. I'll put Mjolby under a little bit of pressure, but I don't know, they give the impression that they don't have an appetite for chasing after the ball the way that Celtic players do at the moment. We've got about 3 minutes of this half remaining. Yes, another free kick against Balde. See how easily they can give the ball away sometimes. Sometimes they look slick, sometimes downright careless.
That's the type of thing Lambert and Neil Lennon do so well for Celtic. They sit in front, they intercept things, and they really protect that back three.
Well, the crucial thing is that Celtic have taken the lead, because I think they're a very, under any ordinary circumstances, a difficult team to beat. When they get in front, this huge self-belief becomes very evident. Straight back again, Lambert. Straight out of play. Sutton, and then that's a bit of a call. Bobby Petta! Well, that was a chance. He might have done better than that. I think he might have been slightly surprised that Ibarra gave him a little gift in a way, because he didn't challenge him, as you can see.
Yeah, unfortunately, it was just the wrong man coming in on that. It's not the type of situation that you would say was one of the best parts of Bobby Petta's armoury, but he did get in front of the defender nevertheless, and I felt that he should have got the header in target, and I think Martin O'Neill agrees.
Mark Huey can't give him a half-time dressing down. Ibarra. Egat was watching it very carefully. I make it a minute to half-time. He's onside. Still wanting to trail in there. Well cleared by Balde. Yes, free kick. I really honestly didn't think there was terribly much in that.
It was great control by Ibarra, I think it was, and Bobby Petta put him under immediate pressure, and a wee bit harsh the free kick there, I think. Unfortunately, it's in a dangerous position.
Well, they've guarded the couple of free kicks we've had competently. Well, they have 3 or 4 players on the side who can take free kicks very well. Deco is there again. Ibarra, the Argentinian, is there. Deco, of course, from Brazil. I don't think they've made up their mind just quite how they're going to play this. Yeah, Deco's going for it. They can do that all night, I'm sure. As far as Celtic are concerned, that was a kind of slipshod effort. I think that word characterises much of the forward play, slipshod.
Yeah, and on that occasion, whenever you mentioned the Brazilian standing over the ball, you do have a sense of trepidation, but fortunately it was a very poor effort.
A little bit of wrestling there. Sutton usually wins these. Look it away. But Larson to Koba, that's tempting. Sutton tries to get to the end of it. They get another corner kick. And that sweeping diagonal movement there, greatly anticipated, and there was Sutton.
He still had a bit to do, Chris Sutton, but it was brilliantly defended by Costa once again, who I think really feels that penalty box is his domain, and is very much a case of thou shalt not pass.
So, into stoppage time. Slow this time, not the best one. Petrov is there, there's no offside. Now Petta. Petrov just a little bit low again. Larson trying to get in there. Well, the Russian goalkeeper didn't like that attention. Pena, and a collision there. I think it was accidental. Let's have a look at it again. I hope we can see it again. Here it comes. Oh, no, that was swinging in dangerously.
Yeah, well, I don't think Pena was really intent on challenging for the ball there. I don't say for a minute that he intended to hit Balde in the face, but it certainly looked a sore one. But being the giant of a man that he is, he's up on his feet and ready to go on with it again.
And there goes the half-time whistle. Celtic Park rises to this Celtic team. They suffered early frustration, a lot of possession, hardly anything to show for it, and perhaps this man more than anything else gets a comforting word as the Celtic players come off deservedly, Billy, in the lead.
I think they can feel very satisfied with the first half's work. Celtic, obviously a long way to go, and we've seen signs that the Portuguese do have the quality to hurt them, but as I say, so far halfway to mission accomplished.
Fire up the barbie, we're going down under.
Oh yeah!
We've got a feast of high-flying, hard-hitting footy from the AFL and NRL.
This is amazing!
All live this weekend on Cicada Sports.
made the world's first coupe cabriolet in 1934. It's changed a bit since then.
Days are getting better, think it's gonna happen. You get some.
The Peugeot 207cc. Peugeot, the drive of your life.
Welcome to Uncle Tony's.
Well, it's certainly unique.
Found the pool.
What's he do anyway?
Some kind of internet nerd or something. Of course, he's not my real uncle.
I'm not sure he's even a real Tony.
Hans Schmidt. He's Welsh.
Nope, he's an internet fraudster. Makes me glad I got my Barbie card to protect you from all this.
Online fraud protection from Barclaycard.
Need a taxi? Dial 429 7070, then just push 1. Your taxi is on its way. Our automated booking system is hassle-free. Once you've registered, one button orders your taxi. Then a couple of rings let you know that your taxi will arrive in 2 minutes. It's that simple. To register with Glasgow Taxis automated system, phone 429 7070 for the easiest way to get a cab.
I'm not overly fussed about him. You've got 2 centre-halves playing right back and left back. I think he's unplayable. Absolutely not. I couldn't disagree more. How'd you get this number? He's a fantastic player. Hello? Okay, yeah, no. Hold on. Join me live every Saturday and Sunday night between 7 and 8 on Setanta Sports News. What?
Tremendous reception for Celtic as they came out there. Uniquely, of course, Martin O'Neill wouldn't have been in the dressing room, and had things been going against Celtic, John Robertson would have had the awesome task, given us to be no communication, of making vital decisions. Well, I think the button was taken off him somewhat by that first half Celtic performance. They are deservedly one up. Not all that many chances in the game, but they have been the superior side. I take Paul's point about this team have quality, but it seems up front anyway, so far, a kind of lacklustre approach to that Celtic goalmouth, which has suited Celtic right down to the ground. And there have been 2 substitutions. The Portuguese team have brought on Rubens Jr. and Aranechov, the Russian international. It's played out right away. Feeling that they have to beef up this attack, and I think they had to. Celtic pushing forward have to be very careful, of course. That was a good tackle. Superb covering up what there by Lambert.
I think that's the difficulty for Martin O'Neill, that he can't convey his thoughts to his assistants in terms of any substitutions that he might make. Hopefully Celtic can get the upper hand in the second half and it doesn't become as important a factor.
Taken there by Sutton, having to fight hard for it, and that's an indication of how this Celtic side has grown from a couple of seasons ago. Solid team spirit. Celtic fielding virtually the same team week after week. 1 or 2 changes here and there. That's better. Larsson! Quick 1-2 there. The head of Chris Sutton and Larsson. Quick on the uptake as well.
Yeah, well, they do have such a fruitful partnership, and this time it was a straightforward knockdown from Chris Sutton and Henrik Larsson as usual. You know, really in touch with things, and got his shot away, but unfortunately off target.
Free kick. Capuccio, as I said, is a free man, wanders everywhere in the field. Well, this time Agat did backtrack, picked him up very well. Mario da Silva trying to make the break. Larsson, well, it was going to be very difficult for him to cut inside there. He was right in the touchline, so he just dragged the defenders with him.
I think that's a sign that the Portuguese coach wasn't happy with the first half performance with the 2 substitutions.
Here's Agat, that's not a bad ball, and missed completely. Sergei Ovchkinnikov, eye right off it that time. Not a happy looking man. He's telling him to get downfield. Balde, powerful in the air. Got to be about pace. Oh, given away so easily. Lambert. Sutton. Almost laid into Petrov. That's beautiful play by Petrov. He didn't give up. Now can Pena take him on the outside? Final ball was not good enough. Now here's Pena. Played wide to Puccio. Well, you can see the way they break that up. That was Aranechov. Smallish player, Aranechov. Goes hard into it, of course.
Again, it was a quick break. I thought it was a slight foul on Neil Lennon, who'd going to do his usual job of breaking it up, but they got away with it, and fortunately for Celtic, they got enough bodies back and were able to defend it properly. But the Portuguese have made the two changes. Alenichev has come on into the middle of the pitch for Costinha, and Rubens Jr. has gone to play as the left-sider for Mario da Silva.
Well, I think Junior Rubens has had more clubs than Tommy Docherty, 9 senior clubs altogether. Very experienced player. I think you could put it down to Pena. Tries to get control. Outnumbered again.
The one thing about the Portuguese, even though they've gone a goal behind, they'll not really try and force the play. They know they have to get a goal back, obviously, at least, but they'll show a patience and keep their possession game going and wait for the right opportunity to strike.
Yes, they're missing 1 or 2 tackles at the moment. Celtic, that's given up to Petrov. Decided not to drive forward for it. Paul Lambert. Balde. No, he went too far. Now he's been dragged out of defence. John Robertson incensed by that. Celtic getting the players back to midfield all the same. A little bit more passing movement by the Portuguese. Capuccio again. Ball round the outside. I don't think he'll quite make it. Well, he did very well, but there was no danger in the final ball. There's a bit more movement about them, Billy.
Yeah, I mean, they've had a reasonable start to the second half, but as you say, John Robertson not happy there, and it's often a thrilling sight to see a defender surge forward like that, but in a game of this nature, I think Balde would be better served just holding his defensive position and making sure that they don't lose anything.
I think they're right about Agad. Agad hasn't really taken on this defence, but that's what happened in Turin last week, and suddenly in the second half, especially when Peta came on, he really produced that blistering pace of his.
But they are so important defensively as well, both Peta and Agad. They work all the way back the pitch.
Beautifully put down there, Petrov. Playing superb. Here's Agad coming in. Can he get a shot in? Backed up by Lambert. You'll get the corner out of it. Well, they're blocking him off okay. Well, he's up against a very good fullback, though. Mario Silva, as I said, played for Nantes in the French Championship. They wanted to keep him. He helped them win the championship, but he got homesick. Almost into Balde. Here's the break. Pena was screaming for the ball. Came too slowly, and Valgaeren had it marked off anyway. Bad one there. There was a flag up on the other side. Referee rightly waving play on Capuccio. And right in place, Yobi. Well, there's a bit of width to their play now, but this man read it well. He's doing a fair imitation of his manager down there. Tries to go on the outside, and at least they got a shot in.
Yeah, there are definitely signs that they're being more progressive. Porto, Deco it was, I think, there just got in the right-hand side of the penalty box. Only one thought in his mind, to try and get a shot off, which he did, but fortunately it was off target.
Well, they did say they would come here with an attacking attitude, Billy, but credit to Celtic in a way, they just pinned them down in that first half. Well, things are going his way. 1-0 at the moment, long way to go yet, of course. Well, I said he was against a very good fullback, Mario Silva. Here's a counter-attack. Beta. That's a free kick, though. Well, the pace of the game is so ferocious in midfield here. It's very difficult to get possession, keep it, and do anything with it in these tight spaces. Lambert. Petrov. What a player he's turned out to be, and he's still a young man, Petrov. It's always heartening to see a young player come back from a serious injury, that leg break he had. Hasn't lost any of his determination. Valkeren. Oh, it's a bad ball by Valkeren. Pena. Lovely little flick, and Belden. Clean as a whistle, he had to go in. Slackness in the Celtic team at the moment, though. Pena. Well, Celtic finding it difficult to get any possession of any meaning at the moment. Slightly pushed further back as Capuccio tried to go in for that, and I don't think there was any need for Mjolby to panic there.
Yeah, but I think it is important that the crowd don't get too frustrated with Porto retaining possession, as long as it's in an area which is not going to hurt Celtic. I think, as I say, you sometimes have to be patient when you're defending as well.
Well, that was an excellent tackle again. Grooming as well. Balde decides to launch an attack. Well, he goes forward with that long stride of his, eating up the pace.
I think he obviously finesse is not a big part of his game, and he went to cross the ball there like a centre half.
Nobody was rushing in his track, though. I could see that right away. We're getting players forward. Pena looking for it. Tries to get it in, and Robert Douglas held his line. That was very good play by Carvalho. It is indeed the first time that this youngster, 22 years of age, has come forward like that, and he did it brilliantly. Yeah. Signalling the danger, the very dangers that I think Paul was mentioning at half-time. They didn't show too much of that in the first half, that's for sure, but there's plenty of evidence now in the first 12 minutes of this half.
I think we did see the contrast when their defender stepped forward. It was great quality.
Now they're beginning to play. Barra going in, and it's just off the post. Slice of luck there. Well, I think Capuccio couldn't believe it as it came off the post. Brilliant play by the Portuguese that time. This is a different side, and a crowd trying to encourage him through a very shaky period. And it goes. Pena won't get there. And this time Mjolby, only one thought in mind, get it away, out of the box. Good play by Porto that time.
Yeah, we did see sporadic signs in the first half that they had the quality, and the way they've started the second half, it could be a long second half for Celtic.
That's good tackling though, they needed that. Lennon. Good play by Lambert, superb play. Now Sutton. Good tackling, that was Jorge Costa, showing his great experience there. Once again, Lambert trying to calm things down, play the simple ball. Luzzi's out on that. Capuccio, that'll be a free kick. Yes, Mjolby heavily in there. And Capuccio, the ex-Sporting player, Portuguese international, really making his mark now. Little ball forward to Pena. Valcheren can't pick it up properly. Capuccio. Well, that's good defensive work by Bobby Petta, but I must say Capuccio looked very slack. Henrik Larsson wanted a bit of support. Tried to get it through there. Very unlucky that didn't pay off from Pena. Well, nobody's got the better of Boba Balde tonight. Mark Hugh, if they push forward, here's the pace of Agat. I think he's going to make this. Gets a corner, tremendous pace that time. That's the first time in the game we've seen any evidence of that sprinter quality he has.
It's a tremendous asset to have in your team, particularly when you've been under pressure, and it's great for a midfield player when he knows he can slide a ball in behind the back lot of Porto, and Agat's searing pace almost got him there.
And they could put the pressure off themselves by scoring at this juncture 15 minutes into the second half. Bobby Petta again, the big are up there and just touched away. Valde close to it. Here's the breakaway now. Good tackling, Petrov. Yes, he did that well. Free kick. No doubt about it, Hugo Ibarra, the Argentinian, the man who came to Porto in the summer from Boca Juniors, where these traits and characteristics are not unknown. Clamping down, free kick.
Yeah, it was a piece of petulance as much as anything by Ibarra there. He had lost the ball, didn't take kindly to it, and was lucky Petrov wasn't hurt more badly there.
Sutton away in the right-hand side of that penalty area. So is Agat, that's a brilliant save. Another corner kick. Well, Agat might have been surprised he got this through again because he was away wide. He directed it brilliantly. And the Russian goalkeeper showing that Vitor Baio, the legendary Portuguese hero, might have a hard struggle getting back in between the sticks. That was great goalkeeping. Put to the test again. Better period for Celtic now. Have to be played wide, but he puts it back to the goalkeeper, who I think has taken all of these pass backs cleanly enough. Celtic coming more back into the game. Certainly in the last 5 minutes they came through a torrid spell, and this is the only way they can get out of that difficult position, fight back, attack. And he's finding it very difficult to keep his seat. Not allowed to shout, I don't think. According to these stupid restrictions placed on him. Agat.
I think we have to go back and see what a wonderful save that was by Ovchinnikov. He chose to dive early, he got off early, didn't move his feet to try and get to the ball. It was a wonderful leap and just clawed the ball out the bottom corner.
Lennon. That'll be put away. Capuccio gives it away this time. He almost got it through to Larson. Shibata. Led out by Pena, who's had a very lean night of it. Pena was signalling he wanted the high ball played in. Not going to come. There's a 1-2 though, that seemed perfectly obvious, and Valde has been enormous tonight for Celtic. Maybe a bit impetuous in that run forward he made earlier on. But defensively, he hasn't put a foot wrong. Well, the referee's coming across as we were looking at the close-up there. Ibarra had engaged in... yes, I think he pushed the ball boy out of the way. The crowd did not like it. Well, who would under the circumstances? Somebody's son out there. Eager to get on with it. There's Capuccio. Looks to me as if Paul Lambert is down injured, but they're playing on. It's a bad pass. Now Capuccio popping up everywhere. Lambert is still down there. Here's Pena, and he doesn't go for it. Well, the referee hasn't stopped the play. Played out by Balcherin. And in comes Sutton to bring the play to an end. And Lambert holding his knee. And you wonder, in an ordinary game, I think the ball would have been played out, and these Portuguese players, a goal behind, are not giving a thought to the new etiquette in the game and just charging on with it whilst Lambert lay down.
Well, they did have a good situation, but at the end of it, Ibarra, once again, the Argentinian, had a chance. The ball was going out of play, and it wasn't a dangerous situation for Porto. He could have let it run out, but he chose to keep it in play. Unfortunately, Chris Sutton came and brought the madness to an end by putting it out of play and allowing Paul Lambert to get the treatment it requires.
Well, John Robertson's body language a bit more eloquent at the moment than the manager up in the stand there. Paul Lambert is going off. He is troubled just above the knee, but I don't think it's all that serious.
It looks fairly innocuous, but I mean, sometimes that doesn't mean that it's not a bit of severe damage that's been done. It may just have been a slight twist.
Ibarra has not won the affection of the crowd down there for taking out a wee Glasgow boy. Do that at your peril. That's a bad one by Petrov. That time they just got rid of it. I think Paul Lambert ready to come on, and they may be thinking of Alan Thompson. Who's made that decision, Billy?
Well, exactly. I mean, Martin O'Neill can't have any part to play in that. Obviously, they'll have talked things through before the match, but you can never legislate for exactly what will happen in the 90 minutes. And really, that'll be down to John Robertson and Steve Walford to make any substitutions, I would imagine.
Throw on the far side. Halfway through the second half, Celtic still in the lead. Paredes, poor ball by Paredes. Now can Celtic make something of the break? Larson. Petrov made the run. There's free kick to Celtic. And I think Thompson is about to come on. Yes, Thompson it is, and he's coming on. Bobby Petta. Well, Bobby Petta has done his turn. Thompson, an entirely different player, a different kind of player, but one thing about Thompson is he does throw in some lovely balls from wide, and I think with that left foot of his glorious left foot. Right in front of Sutton that time.
It's an interesting change that. I think Alan Thompson certainly increases Celtic's options at set pieces. He does have a wonderful delivery with that left foot. I just always feel that his body language suggests that he's not particularly happy playing in that wide left row. So, as I say, Petta appeared to be okay, and it's an interesting change.
Alanechov, the Russian, brought that down. Ibarra. Oh, superb anticipation there by Paul Lambert. He really does break up so many moves. Well, they go forward, then backward. They're keeping possession all the same. Pena, who's done virtually nothing in this game, but they get a free kick. Pena mostly has looked at a lumbering figure with his back to goal a lot. But he does have a reputation, as I said, 29 goals in Portuguese football is not bad. He was signed to replace Jardel. It's not really in the same class as Jardel, though. In it goes, and well away by Balde.
That's where it's useful to have a defender of that size and stature there. He took that central position, and it was a really good clearing header.
Trying to create space for themselves in that wide position. Ibarra again. There's Pena, he won't get to that. It's corner kick. Well, this big fellow is, even moving into the penalty area against him. There's the veritable brick wall. Well, I think maybe that little chip across the goal didn't work out. Sutton almost picked it up. Given away, Petrov. Thompson came back to help him. Nice little chip forward. Lennon, great ball. Look at Lambert trying to go through, suddenly popping up unexpectedly right through the middle. I don't think Capuccio was relishing that challenge. He got out of the way pretty smartly. Well, yes, that was unnecessary, I have to say. Arm coming right across.
Once again, Balde showing his prowess in terms of his stature and strength. But, he doesn't want to be giving away free kicks, silly free kicks in dangerous areas.
Just out.
I think we can rest assured if the scoreline stays the same that we're in for a nervous last 15-20 minutes. I think it was almost inevitable that would be the case, and it's something that Celtic, I'm sure, will have been prepared for in terms of Martin O'Neill talking to them about it. They've got their noses in front. Really, they just need to keep their concentration. Keep Porto playing the ball in front of them and restrict them to very few chances.
Well, just brushed aside. Alanechov has scored his first goal of the season at the weekend. Didn't look terribly strong against these powerful Celtic defenders. Agat. Look at the support work again. Lambert, Degat. That's a decent ball. Just for a moment, I thought it was right on the head of Larson. Well, full of these neat little touches. Lennon trying to give support. Up comes Ibarra. Trying to go on the outside. Oh, well, did he need to do that? A little bit of showboating going on there, I think. Well, when you're 1 goal down, does it really matter? That does show you the strength of Henrik Larsson. He gave it away there, but look how he held on to it in the first place. Balde. No mercy when he goes in like that. Clean as a whistle. Strong as well. Agat had come back deep. Cluster of players there, and that'll be a free kick.
It was great play by Petrov. He does that so well. He knew that he was going to have to ride the tackle there, but it was important that he kept possession of the ball, or, as happened, get the free kick for Celtic. But
he could have put that in with his left foot, you know. So
yeah, I mean, if
you get a prize for that at a Sunday school picnic and so on. Yeah,
as you say, if you're 5-0 up, the coach maybe will accept that. But when you're 1-0 down, I don't think he'll be too happy.
Sutton guarding it. Trying to take on the goalkeeper, Thompson. Well, it's worth the effort. I think they're about to bring on another substitute. It looks to me like Helder Postiga is about to come on. Youngster in the side, he's only 18. Cross it goes. They're getting defenders back though very quickly, Celtic. Ibarra. That was Deco trying to put it inside.
I think when you have a goal-scoring record such as Pena has, it's always a worry, even when they're not having the best of nights.
Well, like Larson can sometimes be out of a game, and then pop, up he comes.
Yep.
Capuccio. He'll have to do better than that. He's done a lot of running, Capuccio. He may be tiring. He's been everywhere on the pitch. And it's Ibarra who's been getting the bird from the Celtic support, who are bidding him a fond adieu as he comes off. And he'll be replaced, as I said, by Helder Postiga. Postiga, scorer of a goal last week in Norway. Chases on. Jobi's there. Pena, that was a bit of ball. Capuccio. Once again, that tall figure is there. Larson wanted it back to him. Thompson didn't come off. Sutton. Lennon. Backed up by Lambert. Well, they're keeping the ball and they're looking solid at this stage. Good run forward by Sutton. He's onside. Yes, he ran after that well. You could see the Celtic crowd standing up just in front. Well, there's a man who's been giving them an assessment tonight. England team manager as Lennon picks it up. Thompson, just a little bit too much in that, I think. Well, Henrik Larsson wasn't all that far away. difficult night for a player if you know the national manager's coming up to see. I don't think that's greatly to Celtic's advantage.
No, I don't think so. I mean, Chris Sutton's a very experienced player, and I'm sure he's not let it bother him too much. He's had a difficult night in terms of the physical presence of the Porto back players, but once again he's worked so hard and shown his bits of quality throughout the game.
Petrov always gets it away in a cluster of players like that. Hagard. He tried to take them on the outside. Can he get the final ball? He gets another corner kick. Well, he's won 4 corners like that in the second half by sheer pace. Oh, he would love to be down there.
They work so hard, those flank players, but it's important that if he can do that, it really takes it's a release valve for Celtic. They can take the pressure off the defenders, because there are signs of tiredness now. I can see it throughout the team. The work ethic that they have ensures that that will be the case, particularly in a high-profile game like this. But as I say, if Agat can keep doing that and get set pieces, it's a great source of goals for Celtic. 12
minutes between themselves and what would be a very creditable and badly needed victory. 12 minutes left. Meanwhile, Porto coming forward. Aranechov. There's the captain. He's decided to come in there. There's Pena. Well, that was really a pathetic effort by this big fellow. We were told he was dynamite. That was a damp squib.
Well, Celtic had plenty of bodies in to defend the cross, but they let Pena get between them. And as you say, for a centre forward with his goal scoring record, you're expecting better. I think he was trying to force the header rather than just get it on target and make Robert Douglas make the save. But interesting there to see George Costa, as an overlapping centre half there. In fact, he's just walking and making his way back to his central defensive berth.
Well, I think he's fed up with what he's seen up front. Ground off. Hey! 10 minutes left. And this requires Celtic to be composed and concentrated and professional, as they so often have been recently.
In the Champions League, you don't very often run up easy victories. Lots of times you have to hang on and show those qualities that you spoke about there, where you're resilient but determined and focused and concentrated, all those things.
And Valcheren was there. There's a break. Didn't quite come off there. Pena in the middle. Alanechov. That was a better turn. And the finishing has been to Celtic's advantage. Quite poor at times. That was the youngster, 18 years of age, the substitute Postiga.
Yeah, if the finish was poor, the build-up certainly was. It was a great ball in from Alanechov, a great turn from Postiga, and the finish let him down. But he's one who I think has come on in 1 or 2 league games for them and got a vital goal, so he's one that really has to be watched.
Slag ball played forward there. Jorge Andrade right in the middle of that defence. Well, you can hear the crowd giving them vital encouragement now.
It's good to see they've recognised the part they can play. They can help to keep the concentration up and ensure that they get the valuable 3 points.
You could see Lambert was trying to get that towards Agat. He eventually does. There's the run forward again. It should be marked off by Mjolby, and is. Reading it well and providing the qualities that we were talking about there. Alanechov nowhere near pen. Just popped back again into the Celtic half. There's Pena. Played inside to Alanechov, but being moved across the field. And that typifies the finishing they've had all evening. I think some of it, and I go back to what I said in the first half, I mean, they've shown trickery, they've shown slickness, but conviction I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, that's good play from Celtic. They had plenty of bodies back. It was a measured build-up by Porto, and it's the defender Carvalho who had won excursion into the Celtic penalty box early in the game and showed his quality. But you know, if you can restrict them to shooting, particularly defenders from that distance, then it's a job well done.
Well, Thompson got a second bite at it there. Poor ball to start off with. There's the captain again, Jorge Costa, trying to inspire the side. Capuccio. Pena. Plays it wide, then rushes into the box. Olenechov. Slick movement forward here. Can't get a shot, and that's great defensive work by Celtic. Just a cluster of bodies round there. Petrov was back, Mjolby was in. Agat had come right into the edge of the box as well.
Yeah, once again it was a slick passing move, but through that central area, Celtic are so strong. Petrov it was who'd come back to supplement his centre backs there and got a vital blocking tackle there before Capuccio could get the shot away.
Well, he's worried about his bag. Seems to be holding the kidney in there, I think. Just wonder if it's the rib, Billy.
Yeah, I mean, it's a painful area to get a knock, but you know, hopefully it's one that he can shrug off, because his work rate and strength and power in there is, you know, is something that's going to be needed in the remaining minutes of this match.
Well, I just get the impression that they need a stretcher for this, though.
I see Brian Scott remonstrating with the referee there. I think, you know, maybe he feels that he needs to be given more time. I think the referee's maybe insisting that he's taken off quickly.
Well, Petrov doesn't show any inclination to get to his feet quickly enough, and you know, he's enthusiastic. I don't think there's anything in the suggestion that it's artificial. I think he's genuinely hurt here, really genuinely hurt. It's difficult to say exactly what. Well, we'll see by, well, Jackie McNamara getting ready to come on for the last 5 minutes plus stoppage time. I wonder if it's the rib.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes at this stage the match is so vital with the 5 minutes remaining that you maybe wouldn't want to make a change, but Jackie McNamara, I thought, acquitted himself terrifically well in both legs of the Ajax game, and you know, he's one that can make it a straight swap.
Here is, just goes away there, and I think he got, it may well have been Mjolby he collided with, or then there was a second collision there, and this young man from Bulgaria, who's always been held in great affection by the Celtic support, enhanced by some of his superb play after coming back from serious injury, does look in great pain. 5 minutes plus stoppage time, of 4 minutes plus stoppage time now. And Celtic will certainly take this victory at 1-0. Just to my left, Martin O'Neill's on his feet.
Well, I see John Robertson down the dugout there. He's desperately trying to get a decision about whether Petrov can continue.
Well, Petrov has recovered all right, I think. In it goes, it's deep and played out again. Back into the box it goes. Played away by Mjolby. Pena can't quite get the touch. Capuccio. Everybody, bar the Russian goalkeeper, is in the Celtic half. Minutes to go, there's a shot, and that wasn't far away. That was the cleanest shot they've had in the game, but I think Rab Douglas was across to it this time. Billy.
Yeah, I think you're right, it was Deco once again. It was so close, but I think we have to give Rab Douglas the benefit of the doubt there and say that he had made his way across the goal, and I think he might have got the touch.
And he's come back on. Looked seriously injured at first, and this is heartening to the Celtic support. Jackie McNamara was prepared to come on. Offside. Must have been very close as well.
Just a pity Henrik Larsson had switched off there, because it was a great opportunity if he'd walked back onside.
Now 2 minutes left, plus stoppage. Valherin tried to get in. Capuccio. Little dummy there. Trying to get players up, and I think that's a throw, yes. Everybody back defending. He's suffering yet, I think, Billy.
Yeah, he has toiled manfully since he came back on the pitch, Pedro.
And he's going off now.
Yeah, it looks really as if it's a bit of a problem. It can be a sore area to get a knock, as I say, but you know, it runs down the clock a wee bit as well, and you know, hopefully Jackie McNamara can just slot in there.
Celtic being hemmed back at the moment as Jackie McNamara comes on to invigorate them. There he is, trying to get his first touch of the ball, and it's going to be a free kick as Stilian Petrov goes up the tunnel. I think they'll be anxious to see as quickly as they can what exactly is wrong with him. There's a huge stream at Celtic Park, giving the time, indicating a countdown. It's going to be very nervy. They're in the lead by 1-0, and in a football match of any nature, not least at this level, anything can happen. He's agitated. He's kicking every ball with him. I'm sure the man sitting beside him in the stand has already got an injury.
Well, I mean, they're set up.
Why should he worry if they're playing like that? Balde going for it. Agat just kicking the ball anywhere at the moment. And I now make it a countdown to the full 90 minutes with some stoppage time to be added, not all that much. Well, the crowd can hardly believe it. 4 minutes of stoppage time. Just chucked away there, and just a little bit obvious with the play. Sutton on the run. Well, no, I think he thinks a hand was used as the free kick taken very quickly. Turned inside, over elaborate though. Fena tries to go for it. And there's a shot, just got a touch by Douglas. They're living dangerously, perilously in fact. And with 3.5 minutes of stoppage time, as that was whipped in very strongly by the Russian international, Alanechov. Driven in, there's a touch and it just past the post. They can hardly believe they missed that. Well, they're going for the corner, but it was a goal kick. Watch this one.
Yeah, it's a great delivery in there. I think it was Costa got a touch, no, it wasn't in the front post there, but it was so close, particularly with Celtic having no one to defend the back post.
Well, given what happened last week in Italy, you have to say that Celtic deserve these slices of good fortune. There's a charge by Balde. There was only going to be one winner there. I think they heard him coming and got out of the way.
Yeah, as I say, that's where a player like that can be very important, decisive. You know, sometimes I think he makes the wrong decisions in terms of when he thinks he can win the ball and it's not really on.
Well, we're seeing Martin O'Neill there as Celtic supporter. That's offside. He's in the director's area there and simply doesn't have a green-white scarf around his neck, but he's giving it his lot, trying to genuinely, as a supporter, urge his team on. He wouldn't be ahead anyway. This welter of noise that's going on here. Celtic just holding on. Now here's the break. Agat going for it. Can he win it for Celtic? And he goes. Can he get his shot? And he can't quite. That would have done it. The tension would have eased. Larson again. Peels and gets the free kick as the clock ticks away. So little time left. They needed to win. I think that was perfectly clear before tonight, given what happened last week, and they're on the verge of it. Sutton drags it to the corner. That's the thing to do. I once saw Bertie Auld sitting on a ball away across from the corner once. Not very elegant, but effective. Pena goes for it. Gets a free kick. Porto flooding forward. We've got about a minute of stoppage time left. Great tackle by Balde again. There's a run through and Pena is offside. The flag was up. The crowd are on their feet. The clock has disappeared actually from the screen up there. They've run out of the stoppage time, and it's still indicates that one goal that Celtic are in front. The stadium erupts with song. They feel they're on the edge of a significant victory. The referee telling Brad Douglas to get on with it. The referee has his arm raised. Whipped away there. Valkerin puts it out. We've now played the allocated 4 minutes. That's it. It's finished. Celtic have got the victory. They badly needed and wholly deserved after that ridiculous result last week in Turin. They fought hard for it, and they really were hard-pressed at the end. Final word, Billy.
A deserved victory for Celtic. I thought Balde in the last couple of minutes was immense in terms of winning headers and tackles. But as I say,